Hello everyone, welcome back to another Project Gladiator weather forecast. Today I'll be covering the weather for August 6th of 2023, and currently we have a slight risk for southeastern Arkansas into northern Louisiana, into northern Mississippi and southwestern Tennessee, as well as a marginal threat that does extend into northern and central Texas, up through central Tennessee into central Kentucky, including Ohio, eastern Indiana, and Michigan. We do have a fairly large area for severe weather. However, we do have a little bit of a higher potential for severe weather across the Dixie states into the Midwest. This is going to be the primary focus for severe weather. However, I will be touching on this entire region for severe thunderstorms. As for threats for today, we don't really have all that much of a tornado potential. As for wind, we do have a 15% for that slight risk region, which is going to be the primary threat for today. And as for hail, we do have a 5% for small to medium hail for the slight risk region. Taking a look at our 7-day graphical tropical weather outlook, but mainly focusing on Hurricane Lee. It was Tropical Storm Lee not too long ago. In fact, it was recently upgraded to a hurricane very recently, actually, I think around 1 to 2 hours earlier. So right now we do have Hurricane Lee, and this is going to be the primary threat to the United States out of any tropical system in the Atlantic as of right now. You can see around 2 p.m. on Friday, it is expected to reach this M, which does mean major hurricane status, which is Category 3 hurricane or above. In fact, I think these three do indicate Category 4 hurricane and above. And I can actually confirm that on Radar Omega. We do have these few regions here. We do have these four Category 4 hurricane thingies here. So that does mean that it is expected to reach at least a Category 4 hurricane by what seems to be 2 a.m. Saturday. So we are expected to see a pretty powerful hurricane that could be making its way very, very close to the United States. A lot of the models for Hurricane Lee have been pretty indecisive as of now. They haven't been really set in stone as if it's really going to impact the United States somewhere around North Carolina, or if it's just going to veer off to the north and go out back to sea, but potentially lead to impacts across the New England region. As of right now, it seems like the primary location that it is going to possibly impact is going to be Long Island in New York. Models have indicated that it could definitely pose a threat to the New England region, primarily Long Island, and potentially lead to a hurricane threat for Long Island and across the coastal regions of New England. It could possibly impact a region of North Carolina or South Carolina, but then immediately go back out to sea and continue up along the coast until it reaches New England and Long Island. Models haven't really been decisive as if it's going to impact North Carolina or not. Some models do indicate that it is, some models aren't going to indicate that it is, and overall it's just been really indecisive as, if it's actually going to impact North Carolina or not. But one thing that the models have been indicating a lot of is, again, that it's going to impact Long Island. So do keep that in mind if you do live in any of the areas across New England, specifically Long Island and the surrounding regions, as you could potentially see some dangerous weather in the upcoming weeks. So do keep that in mind if you live in the affected areas, and do watch for updates on this developing system. But now focusing on our severe potential, starting off with our 500 millibars like we usually do. It might be a little bit hard to see without our isobars and our wind vectors that Pivotal Weather gives us. However, we can make it out on Radar Omega. It is just a little bit harder. However, you can see that we are expected to have what looks like a shortwave trough and a low pressure system that is expected to make its way southward and bring down the jet stream with it to enhance this low region here to a slight risk region. That is the primary reason why we are expected to see that slight risk region for that location, because we could see a little bit of a higher potential for severe thunderstorms in that slight risk region because of this low pressure system that is expected to make its way south. However, if I jump over to our temperatures here for a second, this cold front is expected to be the primary reason that we do have a marginal threat that does extend across the Ohio Valley into the Midwest and central Texas. You can see that cold front there. It's a little bit hard to make out, however, you can definitely see it there. You can see that we do have that cold boundary. It's more prominent back towards the Ohio Valley, where you can see the reds on one side, and then we have the yellows on this side and the oranges. So you can definitely see that we do have that cold front there, and that's why we do have that marginal threat that is running from the Ohio Valley into Michigan and Wisconsin, into central Texas. But again, with that low pressure system that is expected to make its way south, we are expected to see a little bit of a increased potential for severe thunderstorms across this slight risk region. And you might be seeing these maroon colors. I'm just going to get this out of the way. You can see anywhere where we are seeing these maroon colors, that does indicate temperatures of 100 degrees and above. So if you do live in any of these areas that are expected to see these maroon colors, definitely make sure that you are staying hydrated, and if you have any plans outside, make sure you are watching for any heat-related illnesses such as heat stroke, as it could be fairly common with temperatures like this. And again, make sure you are staying hydrated if you have any plans outside, which I honestly do not really recommend with temperatures this high. Taking a look at our dew points, focusing on the slight risk region, but definitely including the rest of the marginal threat area, you can see focusing on the Ohio Valley for now, you can see that where we have that cold front, you can see that we are expected to have temperatures that are going to range anywhere from the low to mid 60s behind the boundary, and then in front of the boundary you can see that we are expected to see dew points that are going to be ranging from the low 70s into the low mid 70s, mainly ranging anywhere from 70 dew points up to 73 dew points. So we could see some fairly strong instability across the Ohio Valley. But then if we focus on the slight risk region compared to the Ohio Valley and central Texas, you can see that we are expected to have overall a little bit stronger dew points across this region. You can see that we are expected to have a little bit more of those deeper purples across the slight risk region. So with that low pressure system and now the enhanced dew points compared to the rest of the marginal threat, again, we are expected to see a increased potential for severe thunderstorms with increased instability across this slight risk region. Taking a look at our instability, mainly focusing on the slight risk region, you can see that we are expected to have some fairly strong instability compared to the rest of the marginal threat region. We are expected to see Cape values that are going to be ranging anywhere from the mid 3000s into the upper 3000s, as well as the low and possibly getting close to the mid 4000s across a small region of Arkansas. So this will definitely lead to the possibility of damaging winds and an increased potential for severe thunderstorms compared to the rest of the marginal threat. As you can see that we do have a stronger instability compared to the rest of the marginal threat, which again will lead to the possibility of small to medium hail with that low pressure system and elongated hodographs with the low level jet being pulled down south by that low pressure system to elongate hodographs. So overall, we could see the possibility of small to medium hail across this slight risk region with that low pressure system, as well as the main threat of damaging winds across this region. Now that I've told you the weather, please go down to the description and check out the socials for Project Gladiator and join the Discord for any updates on Project Gladiator. If you live in any of the areas I covered for today, please stay weather alert for the time being, and hopefully I will be able to see you guys tomorrow with another forecast.